Hi, this is Mrs. Pope from Roger Bacon High School, and today we're going to be talking about solving multi-step inequalities. This is very similar to solving multi-step equations, except for now, instead of an equal sign, we have an inequality sign. So we'll be dealing with greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. Notice here your objective for today. In this lesson, you will solve multi-step inequalities and apply them to real-world situations. So I want to give you an example of why we are going to use this. When will we ever do this? How many times do I hear that in class? When am I ever going to use something like this in my real life? Well, here's an example that would kind of help you frame your idea of why we use inequalities. Let's say we have a grass cutting company that you're going to work for this summer. Wouldn't that be nice? So this company generously pays you a whopping $2 for each day. So $2 per day, and that's just for showing up to work. That's if you show up and you don't even cut any grass. So they pay you $2 per day, plus they're going to give you $5 for each lawn that you mow. So you're using their supplies and everything, and all they're asking is that you show up, mow some lawns, and go home and you get paid. So you get $2 per day no matter what, and then you get $5 per lawn that you mow. So you're going to work this job all summer. Your goal is to save up $200 to buy the new iPhone 5. So if you are saving $200 to buy the new iPhone 5. Maybe you already have it. If you do, pretend you're buying this for somebody like me. Yeah, buy it for me. I don't have it. I don't even have the internet on my phone. But anyway, if you are saving $200 to buy the new iPhone 5, how many lawns would you have to cut? Or to mow? That's the question. So $2 a day, $5 per lawn mowed. If you're saving $200 to buy the new iPhone 5, how many lawns would you have to mow? This is the type of question that we'll be answering. I'm not going to answer this for you. This is the framework for why we are learning about solving multi-step equations. I will, however, ask that you answer this and bring this in tomorrow so that we know what you would do and see if you can figure it out. So use the skills that you learned today to be able to answer a question such as this one. All right, moving on. So I'm going to just do a few examples for you, and then I will go over the classwork that I'd like for you to do as well, in addition to the grass cutting company problem. But if you're following along, we are in our textbooks on page 301. And I picked out a couple of problems. I tried to pick out the ones that looked hard so we could do those together. And we're going to start with number 12. So number 12 states 5b minus 1 is greater than or equal to negative 11. Again, we've already solved multi-step equations. The only difference right now is the sign here. So the same way that you are trying to isolate your variable, you're trying to get this b all by itself. So if you're trying to get that b by itself, you need to get rid of everything else. So the first thing I'm going to do is move that 1. I'm going to have to add 1 to both sides. So I have 5b minus 1 is my original, plus 1, greater than or equal to negative 11 plus 1. And you'll notice I'm going to go a little fast on this because we've already done these with equal signs. It's the same thing. So negative 1 plus 1, that's 0, so those go away. And we're left with 5b is greater than or equal to negative 10. Then we divide by 5, divide by 5. So b is going to be greater than or equal to negative 2. Notice I did not flip the sign. Here I am dividing by a positive number, so I'm not flipping the sign, only when there's a negative number. Keep that in mind. All right, there's number 12. Let's look at number 16. where we have negative a plus 6 is less than or equal to 5. Again, we are trying to isolate the variable. So we're trying to get a by itself. So we need to get everything else away from that. To get rid of that positive 6, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. These are going to cancel out because they end up being 0. And I'm left with negative a is less than or equal to negative 1. Now, I didn't solve for negative a, I want to solve for a. So remember, if there's no number in front of your variable, this is the imaginary 1 that is here. So now, in order to get a by itself, I'm going to divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. These cancel out. Notice, I have divided by a negative number. So I must flip my inequality sign. This is key here to remember. Because I divided by the negative 1 here on both sides, this is why my sign turned from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. And then that would be your final answer. A is greater than or equal to 1. All right, let's keep going. Number 19 states, I picked one with a fraction because nobody likes fractions, negative 5/4 b plus 6 is less than 12. All right, we already know we're trying to solve for the b, so first I need to get rid of the 6 here. So if I have negative 5/4 b plus 6, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. These go away. Negative 5/4 b is less than 6. And now I am left with getting rid of this fraction. So in order to get rid of a fraction, you may remember that we multiply by the reciprocal. So what I'm going to be multiplying both sides by, instead of negative 5/4, it's going to be negative 4/5. Because if you multiply these out, you'd get negative 20 over 20. And then if you divide those, you would get negative 20 over negative 20, you're going to get 1. So if I multiply this side by negative 4/5, I have to also multiply this by negative 4/5. So again, over here, negative 4 times negative 5 would be positive 20. Over 20 would be 1. So these go away. And I'm left with b is less than, and remember, oops, not less than or equal to, just less than. Get rid of that right there. Remember, this would be over 1 if we're multiplying fractions. So 6 times negative 4 would be negative 24 over 5. Am I done? Did I do anything wrong? I multiplied by negative 4/5. What's wrong with this picture? Hopefully you caught it. Hopefully you're saying, Miss Hope made a mistake. I don't even know what she's talking about. Yes, I should have flipped the sign. This was less than. It has to turn into greater than. Hopefully you caught that. It has to turn into greater than because I multiplied by a negative number. So this indeed will be our final answer. Couple more examples for you. Let's do number 29, which is negative 3 times the quantity 7n plus 3 is less than 6n. So now we have a couple of things going on. We have the distributive property going on, and we're going to have the variable on two sides, so we have a couple of things that we're going to need to do here. First, let's distribute our negative 3 here. So we'll end up with negative 21n minus 9 is less than 6n. Now, I'm trying to do a couple of things here. I need to get all of my n's on one side and the number on the other side, and I have n's on both sides here. So you can choose which side you want to go to. I'm actually going to bring everything to the left. So I'm going to subtract 6n from both sides. So negative 21n minus 6n minus 9 is less than or equal to 6n minus 6n. So these are gone. I have negative 27n over here minus 9 is less than or equal to 0. And now I can pull my 9 back on the other side. So negative 27n minus 9 plus 9 is less than or equal to 0 plus 9. That's 0, so negative 27n is less than or equal to 9. Finally, let's divide by negative 27. Divide by negative 27. N is what? Not less than or equal to, but greater than or equal to, because I divided by the negative number. Less than or greater than or equal to negative 1/3. So this will be my final answer. All right, again, this is a video. If it's going too fast, pause it, watch it over again. You are responsible for learning this material. We're giving it to you, but you're responsible for learning it. So take your time and as much time as you need. I have 2 more examples for you and then we're finished. Number 34, 8a plus 2 times 1 minus 5a is less than or equal to 20. Again, let's simplify first by using the distributive property. So we have 8a plus 2 minus 10a is less than or equal to 20. I have like terms here that I need to combine. I have the a family here and the a family here. So 8 minus 10 is going to be negative 2a plus 2 is less than or equal to 20. I combined this and this. Trying to get a by itself, negative 2a plus 2 minus 2 to get rid of that positive 2, less than or equal to 20 minus 2. These go away. Negative 2a is less than or equal to 18. Dividing by a negative number, something is going to happen. Divide by negative 2. A is going to be greater than or equal to negative 9. And this will be your final answer. All right, last one. We have a word problem because those are always our favorite. So I'm going to start a new one for this one. It's on page 301 as well. It's number 35, and it's about cars. So the problem states that a salesperson is paid a base salary of $35,000 a year. So this person, just for coming to work, they get $35,000 a year. But they're also going to give them 8% of their sales. So it's the base salary plus 8% of their sales. So if they're working at a car dealership and they sell $100,000 worth of cars, and actually that's not really that hard to sell when you think of how much cars are costing these days. So you would take the $100,000 that you worth of sales that you sold and multiply that by 8%. So if they're getting 8% of $100,000, they're actually going to get an additional $8,000. So that's how this works. So a base salary is going to be $35,000 plus the 8% of sales that they make. Well, this particular person wants to have an income greater than $65,000. So wants an income, an annual income of greater than $65,000. So now the question is, what are the sales that he needs to do to make this happen? How much does he need in sales? All right, so let's just set this up and see what it's going to look like. I'm going to always define my variable, so I'm going to call X is going to be the sales. That's his amount that he sells, how many cars he sells, not how many, the amount that he makes from selling cars. So X is going to be his sales. So he makes, if we're looking at our equation, he's going to make $35,000 just for showing up to work, plus 8%. Remember, percent is per 100, so it would be 8 over 100, which would be 0.08 times the amount of sales that he has. And we know that he wants to make greater than $65,000. So he's not happy with $65,000. He needs to make more than $65,000. So you're trying to figure out what, if X is the sales, how do we solve for X? Same way we've done the other ones. Let's subtract 35,000 from both sides. So we have 35,000 minus 35,000 plus 0.08x is greater than 65,000 minus 35,000. All right, so these are going to go away. I'm left with 0.08x is greater than 30,000. If we divide by 0.08, divide by 0.08, x must be greater than, and what is 30,000, or yeah, 30,000 divided by 0.08? I think it's 37,500. Let me see. Yeah, 300. I'm sorry, I spoke wrong. Did I do that right? 30,000. Yeah, I thought I had too many zeros, but that's 30,000. Divided by 0.08 is going to be $375,000. That's a lot of car sales. So he needs to sell more than $375,000 worth of cars. A couple Hummers, he might be there pretty soon. All right, so we are done for now. That's all of our examples. Your homework, put that over here to bring in for next class. I want you to do page 301, numbers 20 through 22, and answer the grass cutting question I posed in the beginning of the lecture. If you didn't write it down, then go back and look at it. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.